نعود ونرحب بضيوفنا الكرام عبر الأثير. مرحبا بكم، أهلا وسهلا بكم. أنا محدثكم رشدي بالعربية وزميلي.
Welcome. My name is Dr. Abdullah Kaba. I'll be the moderator for this session from Prince Songkla University, Pattani.
الورقة الثالثة بعنوان إجراءات ذبح حيوانات القربان، دراسة تحليلية على أساس مفهوم حلالا طيبا في ظل جائحة كورونا 19 من المنظور الطبي والمقاصدي، من إعداد الباحثين الدكتور معلمين محمد والدكتور محمد صبري بن أوان من كلية الشريعة والقانون جامعة العلوم الإسلامية بماليزيا. وسيقوم بعرضها على منصة زوم الدكتور معلمين. ونريد أن ننوه بالأحبة الباحثين والعارضين بأن مدة العرض 10 دقائق فقط، متابعة ماتعة للجميع.
The third paper, titled Animal Slaughter Procedure for Korban during the COVID-19 Analytical Study based on the concept of Halalan Tayyiban and Maqasid Syariah, will be presented by Brother Dr. Muallimin Muhammad and Dr. Muhammad Sabri bin Awan from the Faculty of Sharia and Law, University Science Islam, Malaysia, USIM, Malaysia. We would like to announce to all the presenters, please bear in mind that every presentation should take only 10 minutes. Thank you very much.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulihil amin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in amma ba'd. Again, I would like to thank the organizers for allowing us to present during this international seminar on halal. The topic of our paper is slaughtering procedure for Korban or sacrificial animals, or better known in Arabic terms as al-udhiyah. In time of COVID-19 pandemic, an analytical study based on the concept of Halalan Tayyiban and Maqasid Syariah. I am Muallimin Muhammad Shahid on behalf of my research members, Dr. Muhammad Sabri Awang and Dr. Setiawan bin Gunardi from the Faculty of Sharia and Law, University Science Islam Malaysia, USIM, would like to highlight the important points of our topic. First point, the objective of the paper to explain the procedure of Korban slaughtering process during the pandemic and its relation to the concept of Halalan Tayyiban and Maqasid Syariah. As we all know, the world is facing the pandemic COVID-19 and still fighting to end the spread of this virus. Tremendous efforts and continuous procedure have been done and implemented by the governments of countries affected to make sure people are safe and healthy. And this is for all people regardless of their race, their religion, belief, as the pandemic does not know all of them. It affects all humans globally. Our paper explains the procedure of Korban animal slaughtering process implemented by the government of Malaysia during Eid al-Adha festive, which occurred early last month or in the first week of August 2020. New norms have been followed, new standard operational procedure or SOP has been set and followed. All is because the spread of COVID-19 pandemic. Does the procedure comply with the concept of Halalan Tayyiban in Islamic terms for animal slaughtering process? Does it meet the requirements of Islamic teachings, and is it according to the objectives of Sharia, or we call Maqasid Syariah? So these are the main objectives of our topic. The importance of halal or lawful and tayyib or good in foods according to Islam. Finding halal and good food, or halalan tayyiban, is required in Islam. This is because halal and good food and drinks led to a good physical and mental of human. In Islam, the lawful or unlawful, or halal and haram food has been clearly stated in Al-Quran and Hadith. However, between the halal and the haram, there are vague or uncertain things, or better known in Islamic terminology as shubha, which means something that most people are not aware of it, or they do not care about. Therefore, Islam requires that everything consumed must be clear in terms of its status. Islam, through its teachings, has also guided that whoever avoid things considered shubha, especially in food and drinks, he or she is actually protecting their religion and themselves, as mentioned in Hadith. As for slaughtering criteria according to terms and conditions of halal tayyiban concept, in Islam, slaughtering process has conditions and criteria that should be met in order to ensure that the meat is halal and good before it can be consumed. And the concept of halal and good is mandatory or wajib. It is not only during the slaughtering process, but it also must begin with the initial procedure of livestock or animals care, such as the animals must be in good condition by only feeding from good and clean foods. The slaughtering, the meat management, which includes process of cutting, storage, and packaging until it reaches the consumers. As for the slaughtering process, it must be done by ensuring all the conditions are met, such as cutting the veins in the neck of animal, or we call halqum and mari veins, and it has died perfectly. As well as the person who slaughters the animals must be Muslim, or at least he is one of the Ahlul Kitab who do not mention other than the name of Allah when they slaughter. These conditions and procedures are to make sure the slaughtered animals are in status as prescribed by Islamic teachings, and among the Islamic teaching in slaughtering, such as the types of animals are lawful to eat, or halal, al-hayawanat al-halal, as mentioned in Quran and Sunnah, and must also be slaughtered and managed properly to meet a good criteria or status of tayyiban. As for the guidelines and protocols of animal slaughtering during the COVID-19 pandemic as implemented in Malaysia, in order to fight the COVID pandemic, the government of Malaysia, like other countries of course, has certain procedures and standard operating procedure, or SOP, imposed to all people. Several new norms and daily activities have to be followed. This including religious activities. The way Muslims do their ibadat has changed. And one of the ibadat is during the festive of Korban or Eid al-Adha. The public is required to follow the SOPs set by the government. In addition to instruction to follow movement restriction order, MRO, or we call in Malaysia PKP, social and physical distancing, limiting the number of people to pray in mosques for congregational prayers. There are also procedures involving the slaughter of sacrificial animals of Korban during the Eid al-Adha festive as a precautionary measure to prevent the spread of COVID-19 virus. The government of Malaysia has established special procedures and guidelines that the public should be aware of when slaughtering animals Korban. In summary, this procedure and guidelines are: first, the place and location of the slaughtering process must be approved by the local authority or the state Islamic religious department. Second, the number and capacity of the people allowed to be involved in slaughter management process should not exceed 30 people in a group, and the number of sacrificial animals should be adjusted to the area and capacity of the number of staff appointed. And third, it must be ensured that there is no presence of person under investigation and person under surveillance. And fourth, meat distribution protocol should be attended by the staff, participants, and invited recipients only. And fifth, it is necessary to make temperature checks, sanitation, and attendance records, wearing face masks and gloves, maintaining social distance, and avoiding crowd, narrow, and close chat. And six, symptomatic or chronically ill children under 12 years old are not allowed to attend during the festive. So based on the guidelines and protocols as well as SOPs issued by the government of Malaysia, it is clearly shows the importance of ensuring benefits or maslahah for individuals and communities, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. The main purpose of implementing these guidelines and procedures is to ensure principles of Halalan Tayyiban and Maqasid Syariah are fulfilled. Therefore, what has been said by the government is only to achieve goals and comply with new norms during the pandemic to curb the spread of the COVID-19 virus. But also it meets the requirements of Sharia in terms of halal and haram and objective of Sharia or Maqasid Syariah. Slaughtering procedures during the SOP and guidelines of Ibadah Korban during the COVID-19 pandemic, such as ensuring healthy animals, clean place, examination of the Korban animals made by the Veterinary Services Department, preparation and distribution of meat, all of these are in accordance with the teaching of Islam. It is and its law and its law and principle that is to ensure it is halal and lawful and good or tayyib. This is because it is not enough just to take what is halal, but it is also necessary to ensure it is good. So to conclude, Islam is a religion that brings mercy and prosperity to the whole world. Rahmatan lil alamin. Islam has various laws and teachings that ensure all human beings are in good condition, healthy, and far from harm and damage. The various efforts by the government of Malaysia in dealing with the current COVID-19 pandemic must be supported, must be appreciated, and must be continued, because it is not only an important step in preventing the spread of pandemic, but also implementing religious obligation in seeking and consuming all that is halal and good, or halalan tayyiban. In addition to that, before I conclude, it is also in accordance with the universal value in safeguarding human life, or hifdhun nafs, one of the principles of Maqasid Syariah. In Islamic, or we call hifdhun nafs, as mentioned in the concept of Maqasid Syariah, which is to take care of human life, to keep them away from harm. In Islamic concept, dear brothers and sisters, is to save life is more important and prioritize rather than getting the reward of performing ibadah Korban during Eid al-Adha, festive, prayers, and slaughtering sacrificial animals. Or better known in Islamic terms, we call it obligatory or wajib, must be prioritized over sunnah or recommended, and mubah, permissible. So this is the main points that I would like to highlight in our paper. I would like to thank with that, I would like to end my presentation and thank you for listening. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
شكرا جزيلا لسعادة الدكتور معلمين على هذه الفوائد الجمة.
Thank you, Dr. Muallimin.